What is good, YouTube? It is your boy Charles Branch here, back today with another Phantom Parade video. And today we will be doing the definitive tier list for December. I know maybe like another unit or two might release after this video drops, but that will be for January, okay? So anyway, right, before we get any further, I'm gonna need you guys to please flash that like button and subscribe for more content. I appreciate all the support, and let's get right into it. So this was a tier list from last month. Unfortunately, it like deleted, so let's like remake it. So the order is a bit messed up from last video, but everyone's in the same tiers, right? And I think for now, I'm not gonna change anything. Yeah, I'm not right now. I'll leave it as is, but we have 3 new units, right? And by the way, this tier list is just for like SSR summonables. So guys like Mojito, I'm not including him on this list because he is not summonable, right? Maybe in the future I'll add him to a different list or even this list, but right now this is only for summonable units, right? So let's get right into it. So first of all, we have on JP the 3rd newest character, Kaito Yuki. Okay, he's an interesting unit because he's a support, like kind of like an attacker slash support who focuses on his color mainly only, right? So I'll show you guys what I mean. Number 1, this is the first Kaito SSR in the game. So if you like him, I mean, you can summon if you want, but I'll show you guys what he does. So skill 1, he just does some melee damage alongside decreases damage received by 10%. So just, you know, a bit of buffs for him. Skill 2 costs 20 curse energy. It just does some damage, increases all allied damage dealt by 15%. And yeah, so that's effective for yellow characters, yeah? So that's not going to work on non-yellows, right? And then also if his own curse energy is 30 or above when used, he recovers all allies' curse energy by 14 per turn. That kind of incorporates his like his rare stuff with his, you know, his curse energy battery stuff. But I think I'd rather use that one anyway, but you know, it's all up to you. And that will reduce his own curse energy by 5. Now skill 3, Barrier Prison, does some damage, decreases their damage dealt by 27.1% for 1 turn, as a stun, which is a good chance, and increases all allied damage received by 37.6% for 2 turns. And again, it's effective for yellow type allies, exclude self. So again, like whatever buffs it's doing, it's good for the yellow allies, right? Now for the ultimate, you have just some damage, 2 hits, and it increases all allies JUJUTSU damage by 60% for 2 turns 1 time. I wish it was more than 1 time, but it is what it is. And then also here, increase all allies damage by 80%. That's the yellow version, right? So the yellow guys get 80, so it's a bigger buff. And then it will increase his curse energy consumption efficiency, so it will make the skills cheaper, which is okay. And then for his auto skills, it's kind of like Yuta. So if his curse energy is 30 or above, recovers all allies curse energy by 5. So it's like Yuta's heal, but a bit different because it's for curse energy. Overall, I think this Kaito, he's definitely a good unit, but in my opinion, you should not be summoning for him, right? I'll explain why, because I think you guys can see right here who's after him, right? Because this is like just before Annie Kaito drops, and if you're seeing this guy and this guy like on the schedule, who in their right mind would summon for Kaito unless you're a Kaito glazer, right? There is no reason. I'm not gonna put him skip because he's not like crap or anything. I'll put him at good pickup because, you know, you might like put a lucky single in and you might get him, but please, I beg you, do not use your crystals, okay? Because he's not anywhere near number 1. Alright, so next, we have the first Annie, Yuji Itadori, right? This dude is a monster. I'll show you guys why. I'm sure you guys have already seen on Twitter and that, if you're following like the JP version, just how good this guy is, okay? So number 1 is yellow, so I feel like Kaito was made to kind of interact with Yuji and help Yuji, you know, get higher damage and all that. But I'll explain why it's so good. So number 1 is Black Flash, yeah. Skill 1, just a punch, right? Nothing too crazy. But look at all this, right? I won't go into zone just yet. I'll go over just the base stuff though. So before zone, which is his ultimate, right? All it does is just 2 hits of melee damage to the enemy, and then he increases his own skill gauge charge rate by 20% for 3 turns, which is already really good, right? So obviously you want that ult as fast as possible. And then skill 3, he increases his own break damage by 160% 1 turn 1 time. So the one attack he'll do will be the one that increases his break damage, right? And then he'll do 520% melee damage to the enemy for 3 hits. And then he'll also decrease his own damage received by 15% for 2 turns, so he'll take less damage, which is really good as well. Now, what is this zone stuff, you may ask? So this is his ult, right? Black Flash, which, bro, the clip, I'll put it on screen. The clip for this ult, I don't know why, I think it's so cool, bro. Yeah, I'll let it play. Yeah, so what like makes it so good, right, is number 1, it does so much damage. And number 2, okay, it's a guaranteed Black Flash, obviously, because it's Black Flash. And then it activates the zone state for 2 turns, right? Bro, this zone state is crazy, okay? I'll show you guys why. So if you go on his auto skill, if zone is active, okay? So after he ults, it'll be active for 2 turns. It'll increase his Taijutsu damage by 30%, his Black Flash rate by 50%. He's twice as likely to do a Black Flash. And then it'll also help him consume less cursed energy on attacks, recover his own cursed energy. Obviously he can't ult with it, but he gets an additional action, so he attacks twice. What, bro? That is like so good. And then also obviously it reduces his zone count because it lasts for 2 turns, and when he Black Flashes, he recovers his own cursed energy by 5, right? So number 1, zone, it increases his like damage and that, his Black Flash chance, and he gets an extra action. So if you look back here, when he's in zone state on this one, it will do more damage, it will provide him a bigger buff, and then on the additional action on this one, right? So if this skill is the first action, it will increase his crit rate more and his Black Flash rate more, and then if it's used as the second time, it'll increase his damage dealt as well. So whatever you're doing, as long as you're in zone state, whether you choose this attack first or second, it's just free damage, just free buffs. It's actually so good, bro. And then skill 3, bro, this Yuji global, he's gonna come in like 2 weeks. Watch. Anyway, skill 3, if zone state is active, the skill factor will be increases. So that's a 90% increase from pre-zone. Does way more damage, 160% more damage, which is crazy. And yeah, that's about it for that one. So like the potential this Yuji gets, even pre-zone he's still really good, but post-zone he's actually just insane. And then he gets that skin as well, which is like really cool as well. I'll put that up on screen too. I remember on my announcement video for him being the Annie unit, I thought the skin was a memory, but it's a skin, yeah. So you'd pop that. You can actually grind it for free on the map event. Not map event, the point event, sorry. So you'd grind up those little purple scroll things and summon for it. Bro, there's like 10 different pools. And at like the 8th pool, like one of the last pools, you can get the suit Yuji, right? So it's free, the skin, which is really cool too. But this Yuji, take a bow, mate. You're a must summon. You're a must summon. He is so good. You need this Yuji, right? But who you need more is my boy. This game cannot stop glazing Gojo. Every single Gojo, as you can see, is top tier. And they get better over time. So you got this one, which is still good. You got this one, which is still good. And this one, which is amazing as well, right? So what makes him so good? He's a domain unit. And he just ticks every single box that there is like available ever. Plus like 10 more boxes that didn't even exist before. He covers so many bases, right? So number 1, he has 9 turns for urgent business, right? So you can see down here, he has 9 turns, which is better than the usual 7 he gets, right? And obviously he can Black Flash. At skill 1, just does some damage, and then skill restriction, which is something with his ult. Yeah, it just decreases the enemy's crit resistance by 15%, right? And then skill 2, it does range damage to all enemies, which is for 4 hits, and decreases their damage dealt by 25% for 2 turns. So that's an AoE attack. The animations of him as well is crazy. And remember as well, it's a Gojo, so his curse energy is really good too. And then skill 3 deals 700% range damage and increases his own Jujutsu damage by 45% for 3 turns. And of course, he can't use it under skill restriction. This is, so this is where it gets crazy, right? So level 10 will put it. His domain expansion, Infinite Void. We finally got it in the game. I'm calling it now part 3 Sukuna. Probably won't be Shrine, but let's see, right? So he expands his domain. He grants a sure hit effect to self. So he can attack anything. He inflicts stun for 2 turns on all enemies, which is crazy. He has like an Infinite Void status as well, which goes on all enemies. He increases their ultimate skill counts by 1. So obviously saving you on the domain fights and all that. And he also prevents all enemies from increasing their skill ult merit for 4 turns, which is crazy. And it also increases all enemies damage received by 100% for 4 turns. And it keeps going, right? So obviously, this would be higher depending on how high his urgent business count is, right? So the earlier you pop the ult, the more damage they'll be taken, right? So if you can pop the ult really quickly, you'll get more damage on the enemy, right? So, and then also cancels it out all other domains, activates skill restriction, so he can only use skill 1, can't activate his skill gauge, and increases his urgent business count by 1, so he gets a free turn as well, which is wow. And yeah, so this is all that happens with skill restriction. You just can't use some skills. It's not too bad. He can still use skill 1, I think. Yeah, it actually makes it like kind of better, because it's like I won't say better, but like, you know, some more versatility there. But that's not all, right? So you've also got his urgent business, which is 9 turns. His zone state, which activates when he black flashes, which gives him more buffs. And also, it's a Gojo, so he's limitless, and he gets attack immunity to himself, right? But if his domains, he hasn't got it anymore, but he's still alright, he won't die, right? Bro, this Gojo, like, just his support in, like, this, right? This alone increases damage received by 200% maximum. That's, like, double damage you're dealing to the enemies. That's, like, a nuke. I don't know how the game passed this, bro. This Gojo, he is an absolute must summon. If you don't have him, I don't know what the content's like at JP right now, but I'd imagine he'd be actually vital, right? Bro, this Gojo, you need him. You absolutely need him. So, I saw on the wiki, they've got a tier of his own. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to make it like an extra tier, but he's at the top. Even though it's unranked, he's at the top of must summon because he is a must summon. Global, get ready. It actually decreases the value of all other Gojos because he's just that much better that he's in his own tier, right? So it makes this Gojo not as worth it summoning for. Same as this one and this one. But on Global, I'm still going for Teen, especially because he's just a really cool unit. But if you miss out on them, don't get too upset because Gojo can pretty much cover their role. 0 issues, right? So that is the tier list, guys. If you guys enjoyed the video, please flash that like button and subscribe for more content. New memory tier list for December coming out soon. I got you guys covered, and I got some bangers planned, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Turn the notification bell on if you haven't already. And yeah, that's all for today's video. See you guys later. Peace.